Hello everyone, welcome to a Hub Notes. Without the mic, we are stripping it back to all simple stuff. I'm hiding in the bedroom at the moment because it's a pandemonium downstairs where dinner is very much in full swing. But it reminded me that today is the anniversary. It is 4 years since I moved in here, quite by accident. It was never the intention. It was just like, can I stay with you until I can find somewhere? Because when I went off on the New Zealand trip, I was leaving my previous house, my previous life behind, and in all honesty, I wasn't entirely sure whether I would come back. But after booking the flights, I then met Miss Hubnut, and that rather changed my opinion on things. And yeah, I thought I'd reflect on what it's been like. It's very strange. 4 years, it feels like it's gone in the blink of an eye. But then COVID lockdowns did that to us, didn't they? Time went flying away. And yeah, there can be no greater test for a new relationship. And of course, it isn't just me and Miss Hubner. It was me and the Hublets, as they were to become as well. All completely unknown, really. I'd met them a couple of times before I went to New Zealand, but then I came back and suddenly it's like, oh, hi, I'm living here now. And their welcome could not have been greater. It was, yeah, it makes me quite emotional to think about it. But they just so readily opened their arms to me, metaphorically speaking. The eldest is not ever so keen on hugs. And just welcomed me into their life. And for that, I'm supremely grateful. I fully admit when I was in New Zealand, I did have some wobbles about this. It's like, I'm not ready to become a stepfather. So I thought I'd reflect on that slightly as well, because to be honest, that has been one of the best things. I think it's given me something my life was lacking before, that I didn't even realise was lacking. I appreciate it's not for everyone. It's not easy, and you can't guarantee you're going to get on with the children. And I know one of the things I was really struggling with at one point when I was having my particularly weird episode down under, when I was having a bit of a breakdown, was the thought of, it's one thing to split up with someone and disappoint them, but disappointing children as well. I was just like, oh, because, you know, I wasn't to know that the relationship would blossom the way it is. We're now engaged to be married. You don't know back then. It was still very early days. We'd met just before the Croatia trip, like literally 2 days. So we just briefly met for 10 minutes and said hello to each other, just so I had a name, a face. It wasn't an online relationship. We'd only been chatting for a few days before that. And I just thought, no, I have to see this physical person because I know I'm going away for 5 weeks. So we did that. I came back from that trip early August, I think. Was it? No, it must have been fairly late in August. Middle of August? Somewhere around there. It was a long old trip in early the 2CV. So, yeah, I think it was middle of August. And then I disappeared again in October for 5 months. So the relationship was not yet rooted, I don't think. We certainly were very, very fond of each other, but it still felt like terrifyingly early days. But yeah, I guess if there's one life lesson, this is a life lesson I've had before as well. It's live together as soon as possible, because that'll soon tell you whether you're relationship material or not. It will highlight every flaw. And COVID lockdown just made that worse. We were effectively trapped together in the small building we live in. And yeah, it was make or break time. And thankfully, it was very much make. We are still a lovely family unit. We call ourselves the little family. And perhaps it's a sign that, you know, we've got a lot of relatives who live an awfully long way away. But yeah, lockdowns honed our little relationship together. And it's been wonderful. I mean, obviously not everything is easy when you've got 2 teenage children. Moods and opinions can definitely differ, shall we say. But yeah, we always seem to come back to a good place. And that's incredible. It makes me feel quite humbled, I think. And to be honest, I think I've needed a bit of this, because when there are children in your life, you can't be selfish. And I think before I probably was quite a selfish person. and it has been life-changing in that regard. And I think I'm particularly inspired by Miss Hubnut, who's possibly the most selfless person I've ever met. And Rustival, take Rustival as an example. She spent hours and hours and hours chatting to you all in the Friendship Corner Facebook group, and keeping in touch, making a playlist for you all to contribute to, because she comes from a customer service background and she just wants everyone to have the best time possible. And then at the event itself, she stood in Friendship Corner for nearly the entire day. She didn't get any lunch. I didn't get any lunch either. We were both so busy rushing around trying to make sure everything, well, I was rushing around trying to make sure everything went smoothly. She was just making sure that everyone who came to the show could go to Friendship Corner and find someone to talk to. And dedication, her dedication levels generally, it's not just that, are absolutely astonishing. So yeah, life has changed beyond all recognition. And I could have stayed down the solo adventurer route, and it's interesting to ponder what life might have been if I'd done that. But the more I watch someone like, say, Norrily Itchy Boots and her travels, and the more I think, yeah, I'm not sure that was entirely for me. I mean, kudos to her. She's an incredible woman doing incredible things. And I know, even doing my simple trip, she's off adventuring around Africa, mostly on off-road tracks. Quite extraordinary. But, you know, even just staying on normal roads in a nice normal car. These trips are hard work. They take a lot out of you. And it's weird because you meet so many people and you can feel like you're best friends with these people for a day, and then you're off somewhere else again. And it's a strange thing. I do miss the adventuring, although I'm going to be adventuring very soon with a friend who has been on the channel before, I think. No, he definitely has. He was in the video from Rustival. So we are going adventuring. I can't tell you more yet because I'm not entirely sure how it's all going to pan out, but it should be a good adventure involving a great many different cars. So stay tuned and look for that. But I mean, in truth, I want to do my adventuring with Miss Hubnut. Nothing against any travellers coming up. But yeah, we want to take our little unit on the road, but obviously school comes first, and we're having to be quite selfless in making sure that the kids get the education they need. And that's been good as well, because they're doing astonishingly well at school, better than me, annoyingly. But and we're getting involved with local things. I mean, Minnie Hubner has been going to see Tim at Cambrian Classics, and has been rebuilding SU carburetors, including machining the spindle holes and fitting sleeves, so little brass sleeves to take out the wear. So that's been getting quite involved. He's been loving that. Previously, before the summer holidays last year, he'd been making a toolbox with Lewis at not Cambrian Classics, Whiteland Restorations. Yeah, giving him these opportunities is great. Little Miss Hubnut more interested in driving, it seems, so I'm teaching her to drive at the moment. Proving quite stressful. I will do something on that. It's very different taking someone who's a complete novice out on the road. But even in the few weeks we've been going, she's doing incredibly well. But yeah, it's very different taking someone. Miss Hubnut had driver training. So when we started again 3 years ago with Shamila Sherrard, she was coming into it having already been to test standard, albeit some years ago. Whereas little Miss Hubnut has had a couple of drives of cars around the field and been karting a couple of times, but that doesn't really prepare you for being out on the road with other road users. So it's been very educational for all of us. But yeah, 4 years in, life feels absolutely marvellous. It feels a very, very long way from those adventuring days, but it's been nice to get back to having a base and trying to get more done with the cars. Quite a bit going on with the cars. This will be in future videos on the main channel. There's going to be some shifts around and sortings out, because when you become a YouTuber, it's easier to say, oh, I'll just buy another car. It's good content. And then before you know it, you've got too many cars and you can't keep up. But yeah, there you go. It's just a little hub note about 4 years living here in West Wales in a very different life that I never imagined I would have. And I would say this to anyone: if you're going through dark times do not last. Sometimes you do have to give yourself a kick up the bum and go out and sort of take some of the opportunities that are out there. Life is not always going to hand stuff to you on a plate, but yeah, keep your eye open for those opportunities, because you don't know where those opportunities will take you. I had an opportunity where I was going to be completely unattached and I could go to New Zealand for 5 months. In the end, I wasn't completely unattached by the time I got there, but at the time I thought, this is an opportunity, I can do something here, and I did it. I grasped it with both hands. And yeah, life is not all downs and it's not all ups, but yeah, just stick with it, because I was obviously in quite a bad place before I met Miss Hubnut, but yeah, life improved beyond all recognition, and that's just how it goes sometimes. But it's very hard to imagine good times sometimes when the bad times are doing their worst. So yeah, stick with it, and hopefully I will see you in another video soon. Bye.